wearable little hat. Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining in here today. I do have a little project I want to make, and it involves these little yogurt cups. And I wanted to do a St. Patrick's Day video, and I wasn't sure what to do. I was going to paint something, but I guess kind of redundant. Everybody's painting something, but honestly, I guess everybody's making little hats too, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a little hat. Now, great for a kid and people like me who really like attention, but this one is for our daughter. I might make another one for me, and I'll wear it with her. It'll make her laugh and smile that Daddy's wearing this silly little hat as well. I like the attention, have everybody stare at me. Anyways, this little hat is made from a yogurt cup. If you have kids, you probably have these little yogurt cups. Maybe you don't have little yogurt cups, but I know that they have little paper cups you can probably use. You can get them from the store, and bigger cups if you want a bigger hat, and things like that. And I'm sure the principle is pretty much the same in creating it. Now I'm using spray paint, so don't use a styrofoam cup because the spray paint will eat that styrofoam. We're going to use a little yogurt cup. I don't know how well the paint's going to stick to it because it's really smooth, but the spray paint says you can use it on glass, plastic, so we're going to see. So, and we're going to use one of these. I do not know what they are called. I thought they were called like bobby pins or something, but I don't think that's it. I think it's just a hair barrette clip or something. Whatever. You guys probably know what it's called. I don't, but I know how it works, and that's all that matters. So we're probably going to have to glue that to the bottom somehow. Hopefully I glue it right and it still works. But we're going to glue that maybe to the bottom to make it a wearable little hat for just a little kid. You know, it got to be something super amazing, super cool, fancy, because for a little kid it's going to be so awesome anyways. So I do hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it helps you guys out, and at least gives you guys something fun to do with your children. And if you're a teacher, you know, I'd probably go with a little pack of cups, because that's a lot of yogurt for you to have to eat for your class. That's just too much yogurt. Alright guys, let's get to the video. Okay guys, so this is what we're using here today. Like I said, a little yogurt cup. She finished eating her yogurt, and I thought that would make a cool little hat. You could always use little paper Dixie cups if you've got a lot of children, something like maybe a classroom or something, an art class, and you want to make these little little hats. I would go to the dollar store and buy the little paper cups. Okay, and then we're going to use green spray paint. Now, if you're doing it again with a bunch of children, you're doing it with children, or you're doing it for a class or something at school, you're probably not going to use the spray paint. Use brush acrylic paint, and that should stay on there fairly well. That might flake off. I'm not sure how that would flake off on this. If you're using the little paper cups, it'll definitely be fine, but on this plastic, the brush acrylic might flake off. I don't know, but give it a try. Let me know. We're going to use these little hair clips. Not sure exactly what they're called, but I know you can get a ton of them at the dollar store for $1. And we're going to use some hard stock type paper here. It's our poster board we use to paint on this channel. You can use regular construction paper, but I think that would be a little floppy unless you got really thick paper. Another option, if you have children, I'm sure you have cereal boxes. Use a cereal box. Just cut one side out, and then you're going to trace to make a ring. You don't want to. Okay, we're going to get to that later. Alright, and then I'll probably paint around the edge to make a little belt, or I might use some paper and we can go around it with that. I don't know yet. Haven't done this project before. I hope it works out pretty well, and if this clip turns out to be too big, which I think that's the perfect size since that fits right over it just nicely. They even have smaller ones, but that's what we're going to use, guys, so let's get to the video. Okay guys, here I'm just spraying the outside of this little yogurt cup with just some white spray paint, just to kind of help hide some of the imaging and words on the side of the cup. I didn't really want them to show through. I'm going to end up using one of these fluorescent green paints on the outside here, so they're a little thinner and things do tend to show through on that. So this was just kind of a way to cover that up, and being it's white just kind of help make that fluorescent green that little brighter green, kind of the only bright green I have at the moment, just to kind of help it stand through. There, as you kind of see, I can't really lift it up for you, but there, it's white pretty much all around. It kind of help hide some of the imaging on the side. If you're using a normal little paper cup or something that's already white or doesn't have imaging on the side of it, then you could probably skip this step if you wanted. Okay, and we'll go ahead and let this dry. Okay, our cup's all nice and dry here, so there's our fluorescent green that I'm talking about. It goes on pretty thin, it's pretty watery, and I'm a little afraid that it might chip off of there. And as you see, it's still kind of, you can still kind of see some of the words in there. So I'll put this on a little thicker than I wanted to, but I am glad that I put that white paint on the outside. So let me get some gloves on. The stick isn't working. I'll throw a glove here on and hold this thing and get it painted up. For anybody who's interested, that green paint there, that bright green paint, is Rust-Oleum's fluorescent green. They have a orange, pink, yellow, and a green. Those are the only ones I've seen in my area. If you have any other fluorescent colors by Rust-Oleum and their fluorescent colors, then feel free to ship me a can or two. But it goes on really thin. I think this paint is meant for markings, like out in your property, yards, fence posts, or something. But it does work. It's a pretty nice color. If you're going to use this in the actual painting, this fluorescent colors tend to actually crack when put underneath. If you put other paints on top of them, they tend to crack and show through somewhat. So it can give a pretty cool effect, but if you put on too much of it, it can start cracking and bubbling. It's just something about the makeup of this paint. And I am just coating this really well, trying to get those words to stay hidden when it dries. When it dries, it'll lighten up a little bit. In most cases, sometimes it actually darkens up. But this should cover most of the words there. We'll do the bottom rim a little bit. But like I was saying, this paint, it will crack and bubble under the other paints. And so it's really great for using to do little accents and shadings here and there. Alright, so that's done. We're going to try to set this down without ruining it, and I have to touch that corner up some since I got a fingerprint on it. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. Okay, so while that dries, we're going to set that over to the side, and we're going to go ahead and make our rim of our hat. I'm going to use this little tape ring here because it fits over it and leaves a little bit of room, whereas the can I was going to go with doesn't leave much room at all, so I don't think it'll look right. So anyways, I'm going to take this here and go ahead and draw around the outside of it here, and then we're going to cut it out. Alright, and look at that. That's not the best band you ever seen. I don't know what is. Best band. You guys get it? Anybody? No one? A perfect circle. Alright, we're going to paint this thing green. And I'm going to go ahead and do both sides because, well, you're going to see the top part when it's on the hat and a little bit of the bottom. And you don't want any white showing, so I'm going to do both sides. And then let both sides dry. So I'll do one side and then I'll go ahead and do the other side off camera, and we'll have it ready for you when we get back. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and make the belt for this, and I'm not sure how wide I'm going to want it to be, so I'll go ahead and make a line with a ruler, just line up the edges of the paper and make a line so we get it pretty straight. But this doesn't have to be too perfect. It's going to look cute in the end. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Oh, I hope it is. I'm not sure. Confidence is the key, guys, so you know what? I'm sure it'll look cute in the end. So I'm thinking that's going to be too wide, so maybe we'll do half of that. Looking at the cup, I think that's going to be probably right. We don't want something too wide, so we'll go with that there. And then go ahead and cut it out. Now this is going to be a lot longer than the cup, but I'm probably just going to cut this out, paint the whole thing, and cut it down where I want it. You can measure it, cut it, then go ahead and paint it. But I know that the cup is still drying. I don't want to touch it, and then waiting for it to dry to see about if it fits around it. I think it'd just be easier to go ahead and paint this, let everything dry, and then measure it up and just cut this to size when everything's done drying. Alright, so we have our strip here, and we need a buckle for this. So make a buckle. I think yeah, okay, so let's do just a little square. Just use the end of the ruler, do a couple of inches, make a little square. I was thinking about cutting out the center and then gluing it on there, but you know what? I think if we make two little slits here, one on each side there, then we can just slip the buckle through. So I think that might be what we'll do. That will be a better idea, I think. The blade of paper doom. No, I'm just kidding. It's the blade of finger doom. You know how many times you cut yourself with one of these things? Be careful, guys. Alright, so there we got these little slits here. We make sure they're just long enough. I'll probably make them too long. That's what I'm good at doing. A little too long. And I think this one's just right. So let's go ahead and make it just a little too long as well. There we go. Yes, there's nothing like going a little overboard with everything. Close our knife. Alright, and see, we just slip it through one side and then down through the other. And we have ourselves a little buckle. Aha! The stuff I remember from first grade art class. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go find the paint I need. Alright guys, I found some fluorescent yellow. I do not appear to have gold. I haven't used this fluorescent yellow in a long time. It seems to have a little issue spraying. It's leaking out the top here, little drops out from around the lid. Sorry about that, from around the cap. Not sure why that is. Seems to have an issue that I cannot fix. But we've got it painted, so that's good enough for now. So we'll just go ahead and move it over here and let it dry with everything else. Find the black paint. So we're going to let everything dry. Okay guys, so here we have everything's dry, we have all our pieces, and looking at it while I was getting everything together, I'm not sure I could put this straight across it. It's gonna have to go on the side, sticking off kind of like that. Just because of the way it pushes upwards and then back downwards as it opens and closes. It bends one way when it's open, and then it bends the other way when it's closed, and I don't think that'll hold on very well with this hot glue. It'll eventually tear the paper or tear it off there, so I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go on the center to the end. But anyways, one side's got some writing on it from where we traced it, and so I'm gonna put that to the bottom, and we're gonna hot glue around this cup. Oh yeah guys, you're gonna need a hot glue gun. Yes. Or any other kind of glue you would use to get this to stick to it. I don't know if craft glue should probably work, something like Elmer's or something. I don't think a glue stick would do the job here, but hot glue or some Elmer's glue. Hot glue just dries a lot faster than Elmer's glue, and believe me, I would use Elmer's glue and I would sit here and you guys can watch it dry. So much fun. Don't they have videos like that on YouTube where you just watch things do absolutely nothing or something? They're like SMR or something, or they make sounds and it's supposed to be really quiet stuff. I don't know. Anyways guys, here we got that glued on there. That'll be dry in a second, and then we're going to take this and go ahead and measure that up and figure out the length to which we want this. And we're going to overlap it when we glue them down, after we glue it down around it. So nothing perfect, just a little kid's hat, a little fun project. So give a quick measure and a little snip, and that should be perfect, unless I ruined it and now it's too short. I laugh guys, but I do that. I will measure it, and then, because I'm just eyeball measuring it and then end up cutting it too short. I've done that many times. But this is perfect, so I'm going to put it down towards the bottom lip of the cup. And then we're going to cut a little bit off this square here. This was just a little too wide for where I'm going to put this down on here, so just cut off one end and then the other end. And before we glue it on there, and guys remember this, before we glue this on there, we need to put our buckle on there. I cannot tell you and stress how important this is, because once you glue it on there guys, you're not going to be able to slide this on here. I know what you're thinking. What? Are you serious? You're not going to be able to slide it on there once you glue it on there. But for real guys, I've done it and it doesn't work. Put it on there before you glue it guys. Okay, so that all looks pretty good. Let me put some glue. No, not yet. Not there. We need to glue this to the cup first. Come on, man. What are you doing here? Get with the game, guy. Alright, so we'll apply a little glue here to the buckle itself, and then attach it to the front. Let that dry. Just press it there for a second. It'll dry pretty quick if you're using a glue gun. And guys, if you're using a glue gun, be very careful. They do have low temps and high temp glue guns, but either way, they both can burn you pretty good if you get that glue stuck to you, and it does hurt, guys. Alright, so then a little bit on one band. I don't know if you see it. There it is. It's on the band. Set it down. And it's stuck there pretty good, for the most part. I'll put a little on this end. And I'm trying to use just a little bit so it doesn't squeeze out from around it. Because with hot glue, guys, once it squeezes out from around that paper, it's horrible. And you can't really remove it, melt it down. You have to tear it off and put it on there again. And I don't want to tear anything off because I'm afraid the paint might come up off of it. So
just kind of a little bit, and remove any of these little strings that I always get, and I guess that's a sign of a noob when it comes to glue guns. But anyways, there we go. It's on there, it's down, and we got this cool little hat. Alright, so this little pin here. Now, I'm thinking it has to go right here, just because of the way it pops and bends, that this would allow you to put it on and off pretty easy. And I'm thinking if you had one of those little horseshoe shaped hair, again, I don't know what they're called at all. They're just like shaped like a horseshoe, and you use it to hold your hair back. I don't know, some hard hairband. Just kind of glue that to it. That would have worked a lot better than this here, but I don't have any of those, and I did not want to go to the store, so we're gonna make it work with one of these guys. But I would probably suggest getting those little U horseshoe shaped looking hairbands. But this isn't too bad. This should work. So go ahead and let that dry. Okay guys, so there it is. It's all dry. Got a little bit of glue there on the end. So I've got it glued on there. It's on there nice and tight, as you can see with the tremendous amount of hot glue that I've used. But it was lifting, it was trying to come off there, so I would have definitely went one of those horseshoe bands over this, but live and learn, guys. But this should work. I've tried it on my head, and I've got nowhere near as long hair as my daughter has, and it stays on my head. So, but you know what I'm thinking? This here, I noticed right there, it's missing a shamrock. Okay, so we have our paper, and to make a shamrock, we just need a couple of little hearts that we can glue together, or you can draw out a perfect little shamrock if that's what you want to do. But to make a couple of little hearts all at once, just take your piece of paper, fold it over again. Now you have 3 sections. If you unfold it, there'll be 3 sections that you're going to be cutting out on. So just go ahead and make a little heart. There we go. And it's a shamrock leaf for the most part. And we're going to just make a little 3-leaf clover to add a little accent to the hat. And my big scissors do not make turns very well, and it's just alright, let's just get rid of some of this paper. How about that? That should make it easier. These scissors are old, super covered in paint. I should invest in a smaller pair though, just for little tedious things like this here. But anyways, cut out a little heart, and then when you're done, you should have 3 little hearts. There we go, 1, 2, 3. And when we glue them together, we'll kind of get a little glue in there like that, or you can spread them out a little more, and however you want it to go. I would leave a little space in between each one, and you got yourself a little shamrock. Let's see, where do I want it? Something like that there. When we glue it together, it'll yeah, something like that there. But we need a stem, so I think that's what it's missing, right? You need a stem for this guy. So let's take that paper is not big enough, so we'll get this little thing here and just cut out a little strip, and there you go. You got a little stem. If you want it to be a little more curved, you can always can always take the stem and just cut a little curve to it. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. On one of these little hats here, it's just a fun little project. And you guys can make this project a lot easier by cutting a lot of corners from what I've done here in this video. Keep that in mind. I mean, I'm just winging it as I go. I've never made this. I didn't make this before I did this one. This is a first take, so there are a lot of problems. So we're add a little glue, just a little dot, just enough to get these two to kind of stick there on the stem. All right. And I burnt my finger. Okay, so get a little dot. Darn it. This is some of the stuff you only get from a one take video. Alright, so we got it glued on there. Give it a second to dry. If you're using hot glue, once again, if you're using hot glue, this will be dry in just about no time. If you're using something like school glue, you can go ahead and complete this task tomorrow. Wait for it to dry and finish this up tomorrow, because you know it takes forever for school glue to dry, right? Take off all these little cobweb pieces, these little strings I get because I do something wrong. I never see anybody with these strings on their videos when using hot glue, but man, I get strings everywhere. So I'm thinking we'll get it set in there, something like that, and glue it in place there. So that should look kind of cool. Yeah, somewhere in there like that right there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that painted, and then we'll come back and attach it here to the hat. Alright guys, we'll be right back. Okay guys, so we're back. We got it painted. It's nice and dry. Use the same paint, just with a little bit of yellow in it to give it a little brighter touches here and there, so it stands off of the hat itself. So here we're going to add just a little dollop of glue to each petal and stick it on down. I stuck the stem as we were discussing inside the belt, and there we go. Just glue down these other two leaves and you should be good to go. There you have it, a little leprechaun hat for a little kid's head, or my head, because like I said, I like attention. But come on guys, that's a pretty cool little hat, right? You know, I mean, and now that I know what I'm doing, I bet I could do this in a fraction of the time. So there it is, pretty awesome. Pretty cool. Really nice hat.
Okay, so there we have it, the finished hat. It's a pretty cool, fun little thing to make. A little more complicated than I thought it was going to be, but I'm sure you guys can figure out an easier process just by kind of going over the video. But it wasn't too bad. A lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to give this to our daughter. I kind of like it. No, I'm going to give it to her. I'll make another one for me. But let's see how it looks on her, so let's get her out here. Is that a cool hat? It's really cool. You like the hat? It's a cute hat. Go ahead, get in the car. Alright guys, so there we have it. She likes the hat. It's a really cool hat, and she's going to wear it for the probably next couple of days as we go down to the school to get our son from school, and she's going to show it off. She's ready to go. Alright guys. see you next time in the next video. And remember, guys, keep creating. Just paint something.